Hey, how you doing? This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show. And I'm down in my workshop this morning. It's about almost 8:30, and I've been getting reports, emails from this website called DX Maps, which I've shown you a couple of times, and it provides you with lists and maps of amateur radio communications. And I've used it, or I use it, to give me an indication of shortwave reception. And one of the things you can do if you're a member of this website, and you have to be a ham operator with a license and a call sign to use all the functions. Now you can use the maps and a couple other things, but to use all the functions you have to have a valid amateur radio license. So anyway, like I say, I have shown you in the past you can use this to take a look and see if band conditions are good or bad based on amateur radio communications. So for instance, I'll go back to map, and you can select all these frequencies to filter on. Now let me go to zoom out. So right now you can see there's a whole bunch of communications going on the 50 megahertz 6 meter amateur radio band, and I've been getting emails from this website, because if you are an amateur radio operator and have a license and register, you can get notifications of activities. And for the past week I've been getting notifications that the 6 meter band is active, and you click on one of the links in the emails and it brings you to a map like this. So this morning I thought, well, let's see what is going on. So I've got let me show you a picture of it. I've got this radio here, my ICOM 706 Mark II-G, hooked up and running. It's connected to my MFJ 31-foot vertical antenna, which is not really tuned for 6 meters, but it should work pretty good. So that's what my setup is right now. And let me get this out of the way. And so I looked at 50 meters, and then there's several ways you can look at 50 meters. You can look at the map, which shows you the communications between two amateur operators, or you can look at a list or a graph and even get into a chat. So you can see even down here in Florida, and this is recent stuff, there are a couple of people down here in Florida, one close to me down in Bradenton, that are doing a lot of communications this morning. Now if you go to the list mode right here, you get a listing of what was on the map, plus it gives you more detail. And the one thing I noticed, because I tuned through the band for 15-20 minutes and I didn't hear anything but maybe a little noise, if you look down here, the mode that these people are using, it's mostly CW and a digital mode called JT65. Well, JT65, you have to have some software to code your messages going out. Then you have your computer connected to the transmit side of your radio, and vice versa. If you want to just listen, you have your radio connected to the output of, to the input of your computer, and then you run a couple of programs. Now, the first program I started with is this one right here, which is Multi-PSK. Multi-PSK also has the free version, which this one is, and a paid version. You can decode this mode, this digital mode, which is JT65, using the free version, and this is what it's doing right now. Again, it's not showing me the data that's being transmitted. I'm not sure how I do that, but it's not showing me data. It's just showing me the connections between the two amateur operators down here. So you can see KV4FZ is pretty busy this morning. Now, right now, the input from my radio going to my mixer is turned down. So my mixer, so this program right now is just seeing my audio, which is the scrambled gobbledygook. So I would have to turn the mixer input from my microphone down and turn the input from the radio up to get it to decode. Now, another program I found this morning, which is exclusively, now multi PSK has infinite number of modes. You can see these are all the modes that it can work in and decode, just an infinite number. Here is a specific program made for JT65 mode, and you can see it was decoding some of these transmissions going back and forth from my radio. Again, I don't see how I can listen in on the conversations. Maybe that's a restriction of JT65 that you can't listen in. I don't know. This is JT65 is new to me. It's a newer, meaning it's came out in the last 10 years, mode of operation on the amateur radio bands. Okay, we don't need that. So I'm going to turn my microphone down and turn the radio up and see if it can still decode. So here we go. And I'll point to a new entry if it captures one. Okay, you were probably hearing all that noise because the mixer is piping that to my computer, and you can see that it picked up a couple of new signals here, both in multi-PSK, which is in the background here, and in this decoding software up here. Now, like I say, I don't know, because I'm new to this, and you can leave a comment. I don't know if I can actually capture the messages that are going across. I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe that's one of these many other functions that appear up here. And of course, this program, at least the one here on the main part of the screen, you can use to transmit via JT65 mode on your transmitter. Of course, you have to have the interface from your computer set up to your transmitter to do that. But the main thing, like I say, I would use this for is tracking just communications and see how active a particular band is. Now let me go back to the map. Okay, here's the map. What I have used it for in the past mostly is low frequency and HF. And you can, let me go to the map, and right now it's showing you, I clicked on 10 meter band, so it shows me, and there's quite a bit of activity on 10 meters. So let me zoom out here. Yeah, look at that. So now I can go to list and see what operating modes they're using. So here's the list, a whole bunch of CW and a whole bunch of WSPR, which is another mode, digital mode, for communications for amateur radio operators. There's just a ton of digital modes, and the beauty, if I was picking up the audio and piping it into my screen capture program a few minutes ago, you could hear it with just noise. But the beauty of these digital modes is that noise, even though it's pretty weak, can be decoded. So pretty cool. Let me go back to the map. So this is just the 10 meter band activity. So we can select all bands, and it gets kind of messy. Okay, there's all bands combined on one map. Or, for instance, if I wanted to listen to the 31 meter international band, I could select the 30 meter amateur band only. Now that one is not as active. Well, so much for that idea. That's even active. So this says that the 30 meter band is very active, and it looks like it's active between, let me zoom out. It's active between, for instance, inside the United States and from Australia, United States to Australia, and there's nothing this way, which is typical. You know, on the 31 meter band, it's more active in the early morning, which is 8:30 in the morning here in Clearwater. So again, I've shown you this before, but this is a great way to find out what bands are active in the amateur radio frequencies, which are near any international broadcast frequencies. So that's it. I just wanted to show you that and show you that 6 meters is active. Now, as I said before, when I was looking at the 6 meter listing, it was mostly digital mode, or CW. I don't have a setup to do that. I can only do voice. So, didn't seem to be very active for voice communications, which, unlike the digital modes, takes a lot of power to get long distance. So that's it. If you enjoyed this show, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and I apologize for the noise in the background, which is my wall shaker air conditioner, because I have to have it on. It's just too hot out here. Well, with that on, it's about 80 degrees. When I first came in here, it was about 87 degrees. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.